Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for game number 2 here in a special 3 series between TNC Pro Team and WG.Unity here. TNC won game number 1 quite handily, just managed to farm out their heroes in a draft and just pretty much run over WG, who had very little control to actually make use of their lineup. We'll see what happens this time. I see a Dark Willow here, which has not been banned out just yet, so this could be interesting. My name's DragonDrop, and this time around I'm joined by Franz. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for hopping in on short notice.
Dark Willow in the pool. TNC has the first pick. There's one ban left on each team. We'll have to see if either team decides to ban it out. But at the moment, I feel like Dark Willow is on the strong side, just because her damage output is insane, and so is her utility.
Yeah. Like, if that gets through the banning stage, there's no way you don't pick first, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a first pick this game, especially because with the nature of Captain's Draft, there's like not as many counters present in the pool.
Yeah.
I think the biggest counter to Dark Willow is Nyx, and he doesn't seem to be part of this hero pool, so
yeah,
should be a pretty good Dark Willow game if she makes it through. But just taking a glance at the heroes available, I think there's a lot of ranged heroes in this pool, and also a Drow Ranger, so we could see something like that coming out.
Yeah. Something that I don't believe we've seen in SEA so far in this tournament. But at the same time, there's also the Raven Spectre here, perhaps, to fall back on. The Arc Warden. It feels like some heroes always slip into the pool, maybe just bias or just a misconception, but I keep seeing Arc Wardens in the pools, and same for the Earthshake even though it's not picked up all that much or banned even. This time it is. And dying taken off for TNC, so it's now time for WGU to decide. Alright, do we let them have the Dark Willow? Do we try and play against it? Do we hope that they don't pick it up first and maybe get that ourselves? Oh, what else would you spend your last ban on here?
Well, there's a couple of, like, I guess, snowbally heroes in the pool. So there's like Meepo, Storm, Dark Willow, Bristleback. I think these are heroes that, if they aren't properly countered, then they can have like a really good game and a lot of impact.
Yep. You Bristleback in a while, like. Is he still good, or was he ever good in last months? Yeah, we'll see. I want to go for something like that. For now, so with the Wyvern first.
Bristleback's like kind of situational, right? He generally is really tough to kill in lane, and when he comes online, he's able to sort of be like the front liner for his team. And looks like WG actually pick up the Dark Willow.
Yeah. Gonna be exciting. Dark Willow and the Pudge. Oh man, yeah. I'm so happy for this game now.
You have a really nice combination there, actually. You have the root from the Dark Willow and then the hook from the Pudge. Not to mention, Dark Willow has a huge amount of damage output, so anyone that gets dismembered kind of alone is pretty much killed instantly.
Yep. Alright, so TNC, they made a choice though, right? They pick up the Winter Wyvern first, knowingly, and they gotta know, alright, Dark Willow is there. Maybe they just use this opportunity to try and figure out, alright, how do you actually play against this hero? Just get a leg up on all the other teams, essentially, in once that hero eventually gets into Captain's mode. But then again, there might be some changes before that happens anyway. Disruptor, Storm Spirit, Winter Wyvern, I see a lot of team fight, a lot of magical damage, and especially Storm Spirit, right? You already took away a big counter on the Disruptor. Winter Wyvern also works well against him with the Winter Curse. What other ways are there to deal now with the Zippity Zap?
Yeah, I feel like 1437 actually baited WG into this Dark Willow pick. I mean, TNC, their heroes are actually very well equipped against WG so far. Obviously, that Static Storm is really good against Dark Willow because she's a very fragile hero. But also, you have sort of one of the best meta teamfight combinations in TNC's lineup right now. You have the Winter Wyvern ulti, and then you follow it up with the Disruptor ulti, and that's pretty much pretty much a guaranteed kill on most heroes in the game, right? And then they pick the Storm Spirit third. And there's actually Out of WG's lineup so far, there's not a lot of solutions for the Storm. There's no instant stuns. There's no hard stuns. You know, their best solution right now as a Storm is perhaps to root him and then hook dismember him, but that's not the easiest task. So TNC looking much stronger so far.
Any other options here for WG to maybe round that out would be, I guess the Magnus is also still in the pool, can kind of also help out the Phantom Lancer. Outside of that, the Windrunner, just for the shackles.
Yeah, Windrunner would be a good solution, but also just heroes in general that, first of all, do okay against Storm in the early game, and sort of, I think this game WG's game plan should be to slow down the item progression for Storm, so that their Phantom Lancer can get to a point where WG can actually push and sort of like try to end the game before the Storm goes out of control.
5 seconds
they go for the Windrunner, so it'll help. You have pretty powerful early game spells even. With the power shot just zapping people down. The Shackle level 1 is even useful now. You managed to latch it.
You can also do the Russian 4 power shot 4 windrun build.
Yeah, what?
I think it appeared in a match recently, but so you just run around power shotting people and running it around at maximum speed.
Kind of hilarious, but I can see that happening because I can see that working. I want to say because Windrunner, if nothing else, it allows you to trade right clicks very efficiently. Kind of makes me wonder if they want to run the Windrunner mid even up against us. Kind of dodge the overload whenever you want to.
So Winter Wyvern, I think she got changed. So I feel like near the end of the last patch, Winter Wyvern was actually a very excellent mid laner, but I believe her talent tree got changed. I think she lost the damage talent. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely feels like she's not the mid laner she once was. And
yeah,
it's like
they'll get 50 damage level 10 or 90 GPM. Then health for night vision, Arctic burn slow, cold embrace cooldown, Winter's Curse duration of Splinter Blast. It's definitely a lot more focus around the spells, I guess.
We do have the Raven Spectre coming out, the classic.
I love this combo as well. Magnus Spectre. Spectre can have a hard time farming early on, but Magnus says, "Alright, I'll get you back." So it'll be that, and now the Velo Titans. Alright, so it's gonna be offlane Titan, huh? X Nova on a support Willow again, Aframush on the Pudge roaming around. So it's a 5 Willow. And a mid Windrunner, okay. This is the best way that WG could set up the lanes?
Well, obviously you always want the Tide Hunter against the Spectre offlane this game, but I think TNC's lineup looks super greedy right now in terms of their cores, right? Like Magnus, Storm, Spectre, they all take a little bit of time to come online, especially you know, Storm Spirit wants the Bloodstone, Spectre wants her first or second item. So WG, they have a lot of room to sort of punish this so far. Dark Willow is generally, well, she's designed to be a support, right? But I think a lot of people have just been running her mid just because her damage output is insane. But really, I think it just comes down to what they're comfortable doing. Especially since this is a new hero, it's not a hero you would practice in scrims, and so, you know, if their mid player isn't comfortable with Dark Willow mid, then you wouldn't run her mid.
Yeah. And WG has been the team that has run the Dark Willow once before this tournament. And I believe they won that game with it quite handily. So X Nova was playing it also in the support role. They have even some competitive experience with this, which is uncommon, to say the least. We'll see if they can make it work this time. They have to if they want to stay alive in this series. Game number 2. TNC up 1-0. The winner of this series will face up against Mineski in the grand finals of the qualifier. For now, WG starting on the die side. What do you think about the changes to like how the early game shapes up now that you can't TP out anymore? Like we often see these 5-man group ups, and more often than not, teams are just running into each other and brawling.
Like, especially in solo queue games, right? Like a lot of teams are just 5-manning. Bounties is really nothing. There's no like drawback with doing it, because your best outcome is you get a few kills, you get the bounty runes, and you just TP back to the lane as if nothing happened, right?
Yep.
And so if the enemy team is 5-manning and you're not 5-manning, then you are at risk of sort of losing more heroes than the enemy team.
Yeah.
And since the bounty runes are so close together, and since I think the mid hero has to TP mid in order to obtain the block anyway, like there's really nothing you're losing out on.
Yep.
In terms of lineup, I think TNC I think they're strongly favored to win this if the game goes later. Their team fight's stronger. I believe their heroes are also better in the late game. So WG, their path to victory is sort of to snowball off of the laning phase.
Yep. I think use with that the gank potential, the damage output from the Willow, just the chaos that the Tyra can cause. Move on from there. As you said, just try and kill the Stormspear as often as you can, really, especially before it's level 6. That's where he's the most vulnerable, and you can see they do have the Winter Wyvern to react to that. 1437 is going to be his job. Make sure to try and cut that out. At the same time, though, TNC, they're going for this aggro lane. They're dodging out the Tidehunter. With,
Do you think this is a little odd? The Magnus is blocking mid and then running towards Votto. That's just life now.
Yeah. Is what it is. I'll figure out what's happening now.
Well, 1437 uses the Arctic Burn, doing a lot of damage to these two heroes on the top lane.
You can complain about the cooldown all you want, but you see this amount of damage and you're very happy. It's not much lower. Down bottom, Magnus up against Tidehunter should be farming lane for the most part.
I think Tidehunter will do a little bit better in this lane until Sam H starts getting perhaps Arcane Boots or enough mana to sustain the shockwaves up top.
3-7 gone on. Aftermoosh stopping the rod though as he turns around onto Imps, but the slow's coming through from Raven. Helping out his support to just zone Aftermoosh away, and should be fine. Level 1 on the strike, but 1437 he really wants to get the skill. Gets one more good shackle. 30 point into it. WG just brothers in arms, you know, helping out each other. And now Aftermoosh comes right back. 1437 matches very well with first blood, and he is sticking around for a little bit too long. Firo drawing that himself. Gonna help him out even more in this middle lane.
Yeah, 1437 stayed a little bit too long. I don't think he was expecting the pledge to. I believe he selfed up and ran back in. So
yeah,
very nice kill for WG there.
How do you expect this top lane to end up going?
I think the Spectre is going to get pushed out at some point, and TNC are going to have issues with their lanes. I think, you know, as the Phantom Lancer starts getting levels, yeah, that Spirit Lance just does way too much damage, and you know, Spectre is not a hero that can sustain against that. But also, the supports from TNC aren't the best at dealing with the Phantom Lancers. So you know, as long as WG have this Pledge and Dark Willow present, I think the Disruptor and Winter Wyvern have to be really careful of their positioning.
He's doing his best. But it's not they're doing side pulls, they're doing what they can to just grab control of this lane. But Disruptor, not traditionally known to be good in tri-lanes, or against tri-lanes rather. Throwing out the Thunder Strike, but really doing too much. Oh, dog. Almost connecting there. But yeah, for now they're holding their ground. Middle lane, Bear against Cuckoo, and Bear's actually starting to get ahead here as well.
If you ever got that first blood, and I think this lane is fairly even in general.
Aftermoosh. They'll try and maybe change the math on that a little bit. Cuckoo barely far forward, but still have to walk in a little bit. The shackle though, that's a good setup. The hook will still miss though. All right, that's odd. Aftermoosh hesitating just a tiny bit. Oh, self cancel at the very least. Getting the max value out of that, but he also has the bottle. Continue to be fine.
Another gank attempt here.
Ooh, Cuckoo. There it is. Aftermoosh taking a lot of damage though. He cannot continue here. This shackle will not latch. Cuckoo with some extra overload. Aftermoosh almost forced to deny himself. 1.37 comes close. Only get close enough to go on Pharaoh. Just spreading the damage. Bit of some regional. Yeah, there's the bottom of his own. Haystone has to be picked up by Magnus. Oh, yeah, he's actually going for Pharaoh now. Just the Dota gods deciding, hey, you get a Haystone, you might get a free kill here. Pharaoh does turn around with the Wind Run, does have one more bottle charge, stick charges, and now Shackle into the Bramble Maze, not even necessary in the end. A good turnaround kill here.
Optimistic chase from Sam H there, but I don't think he was expecting the Dark Willow and the Tidehunter to rotate in as well.
Oh yeah. Without that though, like the Wind Run was preventing right click damage, the Shackle latching. Ever since that buff, Wind Run has been so much more viable. Jabami at top though is taking quite a bit of damage off his own, sticks up. He'll be fine. Aftermoon turning things around together. Wolf X Nova just right clicking away, and Tim's will be the worst for it. WG already looking much better compared to last game in terms of the early game rotations. They're the ones dictating the pace of the game, even down bottom. 1 for 3-7 this here. Velo just started to dive on the tower, cancelling the clarity of the Winter Wyvern, eating his way through the trees, but the Cold Embrace. I can think twice in this. Screw back on Sam H. Velo, he's tanky, but is he tanky enough? Only 1 point up in the Tracking Shell. That'll be just fine with a TP back home.
Yeah, you'll notice WG supports have a lot of a easier time sort of making stuff happen compared to TNC supports. I mean, Disruptor and Wyvern, they don't do high amounts of damage. They don't really have a way to initiate, whereas WG, they have a ton of damage on the 2 supports and Raven.
We got stunned up in just a second. Extra nukes coming through. Do they have enough damage? With X-Nova's right click, a bit of body blocks. They're gonna have to dive a little bit further, but it looks like they want to Jabami. They're gonna get that kill. But now, sit on tower. Tim's does he have glimpse? He does indeed. Drag him all the way to the other side, and gonna be enough damage with all the constant tower shots. Stick charges not enough to keep us safe. So maybe not worth it, but at the very least, Raven is not part of that kill.
So I think TNC is gonna hit a wall with their lineup soon. You know, they're behind 1k gold, which is, you know, not good to begin with, but they don't have an easy way back into the game. They don't really have a way to team fight until they start getting their ultimates. So there could be a point in time where TNC, their supports are both level 3, and WG, you know, they're coming out strong in the early game, and you know, all of their cores are sort of cores that are configured to fight in the early to mid game. You know, Wind Ranger and Phantom Lancer, they're both good at fighting early engagements, so we could see WG try to make some big movements soon.
See what kind of items Phil also wants to go for. He does the face boot skewed up, that makes a lot of sense. Then Mjolnir into Maelstrom, I should say. Link Dagger. Casual Basilius perhaps. It'll be a while until he has some of these farming. Oh no! It feels bad, man.
Some anti-synergy right there.
Yeah.
It's a cool, neat little area in the new patch, though, that you can walk through next to this tower. It's actually incredibly handy for ganking people.
Oh, yeah.
As
you
the
can walk to
dire.
the north of the tower here now, or?
Yeah, you can go up or down.
Nice. Previously, you kind of had to walk past here and take tower shots.
Yeah. I mean, they added a lot of paths for ganking in general. So, you know, it's a good patch to be a support initiator.
Moosh trying his best to make that happen, but not lucky here in this moment. Able to dodge out that secondary hook. And overall, though, the lanes are still kind of stabilizing. The highest farmer here is Sam H down at the bottom, who still has to deal with the Tidehunter. Now, body blocks, extra slows, skill already used, but the IPs there will be pushed off immediately, so that's a bit of a waste. Rack and Shell, Park Champ, Ostrog,
Really
whatever you want to say to that, yeah. Tidehunter, man. You often forget about that aspect of the hero, but sometimes it can really make a difference. In this case, for survival, sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, he's stunned, he's fine, he can't ravage, but then you do too much damage. And comes out anyway.
Sam H was holding onto his RP too, so I wonder if he was like predicting the Kraken shell, but got impatient and
Sam H might be in trouble now. He skewers Afromush back forward. Still a hook available from Extra Burst. Velo though, he tanks the wave, and Spectre also making rotation even without the horn, just keeping in for Spectral Dagger, and Afromush has to try and run away, but Burst slows the real Raven. Gets this double kill. Not enough stealth damage here with only level 1 rod to get the deny off. And now, Spectre. Still got a decent amount of last up top, even despite all that pressure, and now getting 2 kills. Right back on track.
You'll see WG, they have the top 3 net worths in the game though, so their cores are doing incredibly well. Right now, actually no, I lied. Yeah, the Magnus is second highest, but yeah. WG's still in a slightly better position. The question is, when do they want to start sort of pressuring TNC's lineup? Because I feel like they should start that soon. Oh, up top.
There we go, here Jabami. There's not a doppelganger available here to dodge some of the damage here. Cuckoo zipping in. Letting stun as well. Raven with the horn gets hooked on the tower. Tanks 1 or 2 tower shots, but Aftermush does not have the power to actually turn it into anything. The Bramble Mace already past it. Timmons walks into it again, so it's another stun. Alright, WG unable to find any counter kills, so it's kind of starts to hurt a little bit. Raven with another kill under his belt onto Jabami, nonetheless. Kuku also being a part of this. Like, how long does Storm Spirit really take now to really come online and be a big issue?
I think the general build with Storm Spirit is still getting that Bloodstone rush, right? As soon as you get that Bloodstone, you're ready to fight. And I think the big difference between Storm this patch and the Storm last patch is the recipe's different. So, the Soul Ring, I think, is a little bit less effective because it doesn't give you that passive mana regen, but at the same time, clarities are a little bit better.
Yep.
And so, he's able to upkeep his mana a little bit better than he was compared to last patch.
Yep. You spend more gold for it, and Soul Ring not building into Bloodstone is also like a blessing and a curse, because you still have the Soul Ring without having to rebuy it, so you have that extra burst of mana as required for a while. At the same time, you also need to spend more gold overall to get to the Bloodstone. So it's, I don't know, a bit of a double-edged sword in that regard as well. For now, TNC, MNRP back up, Cuckoo in the middle. Look to rally up the creep wave, and they're gonna put on some pressure on this tower, but Aftermush sitting on the side, Jabami showing up there as well. WG, they don't want to let go of this one again.
Yep, TNC, they don't really have a mechanism to take the town the first way.
Ravage being used here on top of the Shackle. Spectre, they're gonna try and burst him down. Windrunner with the ultimate use, but now Static Storm catches him. RP, maybe a bit of an overcommittal, but they're not taking any chances. Velo still caught in the side. Use still available, so you cannot TP out. Has to try and fight it, but that's not gonna work. Sam H with a double kill, so good rotation. Even if they lose the Spectre, they get something else in return.
That's a really nice trade for them, especially since Sam H gets closer to his Blink, and that Blink's really gonna be the vehicle for TNC's team fight.
I found gold off of that, now claiming your top net row slot next to the Stormsbird, and if your Spectre's gonna struggle, then you're gonna be happy that the other 2 cores are doing so well. Because as I said, yeah, with the Blink, with Cuckoo getting stronger, they'll be able to create space and make kills happen on their own. With the Spectre just haunting in, maybe snagging a few last hits here and there. For now though, Tim's gonna get run on. X-Nova and Afromoose smoking together. Gonna be able to burst him down eventually.
I'm sure Tim's is okay with that. I mean, he tanked the smoke gank instead of his Magnus of the Spectre. I mean, Spectre's one of those heroes that, as you said, he catches up with Haunt, but at the same time, Spectre's okay.
Up lane, alright, that's where they were going. I guess.
Oh, nice kill there.
Also dodges out this pressure down part. Max Nova TP'd up there to try and help. A little bit too late.
Spectre's a hero that's probably excels when, the enemy team focuses too many resources on her, so her team's able to get the farm required to make space for her in the mid game. Because
not sure about this one. You're going on the Winter Wyvern with purely physical damage. I guess, yeah, he did not expect the Static Storm. He would have been able to finish him off with the power shot through the Cold Embrace, but perfect reaction. Tim's in the right place at the right time to turn things around. So Paradise again down bottom. This member on the side mage already uses Q. It does have the RP to work with, but don't really want to throw it out if we're gonna die anyway.
A really nice hook there from, or really nice dismember to cancel the skewer, so it's a kill for them. WG, I feel like they've ganked themselves a couple of times in their last few kill attempts, so you know, any lead they had from the early game, feels like TNC's been ready to sort of counter-initiate on the last few gank attempts from WG.
Yeah. All of this is buying them time. That Magna skill also delays his Link dagger a little bit, so that's a bit annoying. But he's still only about 100 gold away from it. Bounce Bird only needs the Perseverance for the Bloodstone, so hey. Get into the places where you need to be, and WG maybe falling off a little bit. I mean, Pudge 1-1-3, not the worst impact early game, but it's getting a bit harder once all of these mobility items are coming online.
Yeah, I think Pudge as a hero also doesn't really do well against Storm and Spectre. Sam H. Unlucky.
You could say that. There we go. That's a Ravage. Alright, on 3 heroes, Pharaoh. They're gonna burst down the Spectre first. Tims gets a nice little static storm off Monos. Actually catch being caught into that though. Pharaohs will still be brought down as Kuku comes through after Moosh with a hook snipe onto Tims. Bramble Maze just to keep them all in. Stay clear through some of these brambles. Sam H. Go back onto Velo. In order to use Ravage, but there it is. Cold Embrace will not protect him against the hook nuke. Kuku now is kind of out of mana. Jabani comes through, already has the Field Blade, and if they can get the storm, so this would be so big, and they can indeed. The stun to Magnus before it can skew out, and dismember to turn things even further. Triple kill for Aframush. We're just saying, Pudge maybe cannot be as effective the later the game goes, but he's just proving us wrong. Don't doubt Aframush. It's a lesson we have to take from that.
Some pretty sick hook finishes on both the Wyvern and the Disruptor there.
Oh yeah.
TNC also didn't have RP, they didn't have Haunt. And they kind of committed their Static Storm in I think it didn't actually catch any of the heroes in the kinetic field, so
yeah.
WG, they pull a really nice team fight there.
If WG don't walk out there, I almost believe that even the electric vortex from the storm might have just pulled out Pharaoh. Not 100% sure on that, but it's... Yeah, if that caught even 1 or 2 heroes, that fight maybe looks different. As it stands, WG get a huge boon, and they reclaim their net worth advantage, really.
Yeah, if the Pudge got caught in the kinetic field, he wouldn't have killed the Disruptor, and then the Disruptor would have been able to glimpse one more hero back into the fight, so...
Yeah.
Very nice fight. But TNC, they're back in farm mode. They have the Empower on the Spectre, so she's able to farm a couple of jungle camps, but it looks like TNC is actually smoking up on 3 of their heroes. They have that Blink RP available on Sam H. Looks like they're running towards Tide Hunter, tentatively anyway.
The courier also saw Raven farming this creep camp, so Pharaoh's waiting for reinforcement. That's gonna come in the hands of Aframush. Shackle to hook, easy kill. They keep doing this. They keep slowing down the Spectre, and Sam H is also... Oh god, what? Vela, alright. Kuku is the only big problem right now. He's about to finish the Bloodstone, maybe a blessing in disguise that he didn't have that for the last fight, else he would have immediately lost charges. But gonna be able to pick it up as soon as he gets to the secret shop or back home. Meanwhile, tier 1 mid is gonna take a punishment. Will go down eventually.
The TNC, they committed 2 ultis there, so they can't really defend, or 1 ulti there, so they can't really defend this mid tower. Pulse comes out. 1437.
We're thinking about it. But, yeah. How strong is the Winter's Ghost going to be this game?
I think you know, if the PL generates a lot of illusions, it's going to be super useful. But I think mainly the Winter's Curse is super useful for setting up the Static Storm this game. You know, if it clips 1 or 2 heroes, then you immediately have a 1 or 2 person Static Storm kinetic field combo. That's super effective, especially against the Tide Hunter. I think he'll be using that on the Tide Hunter a lot this game. 1437.
Yeah. Aframush just runs him down. Sam H just to cancel that dismember at the last moment. But the Bramble Maze comes through. They cannot retreat through this. Sam H even gonna get stunned up. The hook onto the Winter Wyvern cannot get any of those spells off Raven. Tries to turn things around here onto X Nova. Couple of spells. Kinetic Field keeps him in. Kuku with the finish. Sam H also survives. Thank you enough. And the last little Bramble Also, actually getting quite a bit of mana loss here, but they want to commit for this here. They need a little bit more of the real Phantom Land. Oh, the Ravage! Connecting, but not enough damage. Velo. That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Really
Sure
optimistic.
it works out for them, yes. That's a bit cool down now. TNC, they have Blink RP themselves. If they really want to make use of that, they can feel much more comfortable doing so.
WG's in a nice position again. I mean, they have the mech and the hood on the Tidehunter. Oh.
Get that ambush. Oh well. Sticking around a little bit too long in an enemy territory. Yeah. Tidehunter hood. Is Velo just... Yeah, he's probably just looking to try and survive the Static Storm if it hits him. Then get the Ravage after or just initiate with it.
Yeah, he's also their only teamfight ability, so he has to sort of stay alive in these fights in order for their PL and their Wind Ranger to set up their teamfight. Yep. Smoke happening from TNC.
All heroes look, but I don't know. Might be kind of obvious. They have a ward. You don't see anyone going towards the
Smoke
bottom lane,
breaks.
and Halo's still getting caught by Cuckoo. And he should be dead. Trying to lay this as much as they can, but it's also going to take them a while. Between the mech, the hood, the Kraken shell. It's taking them forever.
Stop.
This is so crazy.
Just used 3/4 of his mana for that kill.
Yeah. Well, Raven speeding towards middle lane also gets a TPX. No one on the side though. I might be able to catch him, perhaps not mass TPs though. I have to think twice about that. WG will not get any more pressure there. Bottom tier 2.
No haunt available for the vision, so
Tier 2 fell a while ago, I believe.
yeah, Wind Ranger's new focus fire mechanic feels sort of weird sometimes because you have to face the target, and also if you issue certain commands, I think it also stops the focus fire. So
oh yeah, you have to re-click it. It's a bit odd. I played Windrunner the other day. It was just using it on a tower, and sometimes movement commands would just work. Other times it wouldn't. Maybe it breaks when you right-click something else in between, and then it doesn't work anymore. I don't know.
or maybe it like doesn't calculate your direction correctly. But
Yeah.
there's a smoke coming out from WG. They actually don't really have a clear target with the smoke, as far as I can tell. Taking a look at the vision, all they see is the heroes on the bottom, or the hero in the bottom lane, because TNC is also smoked. So if anything, this is sort of a smoke for both teams to position themselves where they want to be, or perhaps get some wards up.
Then they're hoping they would go on Velo again. Like they did before, and be like the perfect opportunity if TNC commits onto the Tidehunter one more time. Use all of their utility and spells and whatever on it, then easily turn things around. And, pretty sure the TNC, the only reason they did that was because they were really sure that Velo was alone and didn't have Ravage even to turn things around himself. For now, just gonna claim the tier 1 tower. Bottom lane is being pushed in by SMH. Do we just get tier 2 or do we respond to this?
I think they have to respond to it. I think TNC are looking to take a fight right now. They have all of their ultimates, and you know, if they delay any longer, then WG have a lot of potential for setting up kills when they get this tier 2. But I think TNC already dedicated one of their smokes, so there's really no way they can position to fight this, especially if the Tidehunter is sort of shielding his team in the front line.
Actually, also very close to the Manta style, so Raven really wants to finish that off. As they say that, he taunts in for the vision, and reality onto Jabami on the side. And doesn't turn into anything. Okay, I was gonna say like look for the blink RP and something, but WG way too spread out for any of that to work. A very orderly retreat. Still sticking around in this lane, even though the tower has been killed already. I'll just keep the creep wave at bay.
I think TNC were looking for a glimpse there, right? But the only glimpse target they had within range was the Tide Enter, and you sort of don't want to glimpse that hero
yeah.
into the middle of your team. Especially since you saw the last time you tried to kill him, it took forever, so I'm pretty sure the same result would happen.
Middle lane. Just get the Windrunner up. Only magic damage. There's the RP actually just for the Windrunner. A lot of commitment, but they get the kill. A lot of gold too for SamH, holy hell.
Hook!
Oh, there it is! More control, the stun, the follow, this member, everything's a 1-for-1 trade, and well, Storms were losing more. That was some Bloodstone charges down the drain.
Did Pudge hook him into the Bramble Maze, or did he get cleft by the Bramble Maze first? Either way, he was rooted, right, when he got near the Pudge, so
I'm not entirely sure.
That's kind of cool to watch. That's the new meta right there.
Yeah. Going to be anyway. I'm not sure if you can infer anything off Captain's Draft, really. But it's a cool tournament and cool mode for teams to just try new things and figure out, hey, maybe this works in Captain's mode as well, this kind of idea that we have.
Haven't seen Pudge hook a rune yet.
That's true.
Yeah, hook the runes closer to your core. Actually, imagine like a double damage rune spawns next to Roche. You just hook it onto your high ground, you keep it there for the next 2 minutes.
It would still be more efficient to just have a bottle on your team and pass it around.
Tidehunter has a blink now, so WG, they do have a way to initiate. Much easier way compared to hook or shackle shot, so we'll see if they make use of it here. TNC looks like they want to group up as well, but they don't have Haunt for 10 seconds. WG are smoked up already.
Yep.
WG actually don't have vision of TNC, so it's kind of a weird place for WG to be in. They don't really want to walk up that hill, right? And TNC's kind of prepared for something like that, but Disruptor...
They're actually going for it. The Shackle will not latch. 1-4-3-7 gets the spell off, and Static Storm Tim kind of using it willy-nilly. Does not catch on anything. The Rabbit, though, does. They finish up one, they finish up two. Both supports down. One still comes through, but only... Again, it's like two support ultimate. It's supposed to be like the big team fight securing things on top of the RP. But the WG initiating from this awkward angle.
Tower, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think WG are gonna go for the tier 3 here because... Or I guess not, actually, because Storm is pressuring bottom lane, but...
Oh, almost got Kuka there, but yeah, it's... I feel like they could have ignored that. I mean, even if he gets the tower, sure, it's tier 1, it's morning for Storm, but... Not going to catch him here if he has full mana like that. Orchid to work with. They get the tower deny, alright, so that works. Yeah, WG, they came in from a very awkward angle. TNC, kind of panic mode, they weren't quite ready for that. So they kind of missed their ultis, and the rest of them just not got into anything.
And TNC had the right idea for a second, you know, they were standing on this high ground, which, you know, would have been a really hard place for WG to break, especially, or even with a smoke. Next time we're gonna get caught here, probably, actually.
Stun ward, break the smoke. Still getting glimpsed back, though, into the Shadow Realm, though. He's fine for the time being. Throws on a Bramble Mace, a stun, trying to do whatever he can, but the rest of his team has other plans. After Moosh is the only one left standing, so he gets skewered back by SamH. What?
Oh my goodness. Also the right side of the fight.
Also the RP onto support Pudge.
Balanced hero Dark Willow.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only TP cancel they had left on TNC was the Winter's Curse.
He was winding up for it too, but it was a little bit too late.
1437 is probably like, oh my god, I don't want to commit the spell for Dark Willow, especially after we already threw two heroes worth of spells at the Dark Willow. But that Ghost Scepter actually doing a ton of work for Dark Willows. And the Shadow Realm already keeps her up for so long, and then
so
give her enough.
5 seconds for the Shadow Realm, it's like what, 4 seconds for the Ghost Scepter? And then 3 seconds later, Shadow Realm's also back off cooldowns.
I think ideally they open with the Orchid on the Storm there, but the Glib sort of gave away TNC's intention of killing her.
Yep. So holding on to the lead. What's the next step for WG now? You just continue to push out the lanes, look for pickouts, or you just try maybe go for Roche?
So I think I think their Phantom Blaster kind of feels nervous about pushing just because there's so many ways for TNC to sort of lock him down and lock down his illusions. So he's starting to build a heart, and you know that heart's going to be the point where PL really isn't scared of anything coming out of TNC. But until then, you know, he's kind of scared of getting clipped by random RP or random Winter's Curse. So I think that is the timing that they're looking for. So until then, WG, they're continuing to farm out the map and continuing to look for pickoffs. But I feel like both teams have expended their smokes. They've used a ton of smokes in the last 10 or so minutes. So
yep.
I think now neither team really has a super strong initiator like Earthshaker or Spirit Breaker, and so you know both teams probably feel like it's awkward to just run around looking for kills, especially when you don't have ward vision in like jungle camps or like particular farming areas.
One smoke left there for WG is being pinged out heavily. Though they got rid of the ward, there was another one that doesn't see anyone else walking across the river from for TNC, so
it's an interesting path from WG here. They're gonna flank. They're gonna catch someone here, I think. Maybe.
Back. Yeah, they know. They know. Unfortunate.
You got the Atos on Pudge, so got the Atos into hook combo, but
Atos into Bramble Mace. Maximum routage.
Into 5x Meteor Hammer Chain Stun. I'm waiting for that.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's can be useful here on some supports that like wave clear themselves.
A lot of pinging happening here. As far as I can tell, neither team really has vision of the enemy team. They're just assuming, TNC's assuming that WG's waiting somewhere. I mean, both teams feel like they want to secure Roche at the moment.
They confirm it now, and what am I see then? Aghanim Sept on Tidehunter. How did Velo get that money?
Well, it's 30 minutes in. I mean, he got his blink at around 20-something minutes, and they haven't really... TNC hasn't really done anything to stop Velo from farming lately. He's also level 20 on Tidehunter, so... Actually, he's got the 40% EXP gain.
Alright, that is Honk coming through. They pull the trigger. Cuckoo zipping through all the way to the side on Windrunner. Still get the Windrunner off. At the same time, Static Storm on the side. Pretty good. Catch Dark Willow as well as Titan and ERP with punch off immediate Veil. Still holding on to that Ravage. All going through the Bramble Maze. Follow up stun as the PKB ends on Magnus. Now Jabami with the minus armor. They're gonna try to turn this around. Samich dies first, and now all the Phantom Lance illusions gonna have to throw out some more. Gets hooked back here. Connect actually keeping him from connecting with the heroes. Glimpse back up to the high ground. And it is TNC. We're getting the better end of this trade. Jabami forced to get himself out of there. Cuckoo with another zip forward. He's forced to fight here. Needs to try and turn this, but there's plenty of AoE, plenty of damage. Triple kill for the Storm Spirit. TNC with a huge victory here. WG just lose 4 of their heroes. And they've just been run over.
I think in a normal game, so WG kind of positioned themselves where in a normal game they would have been okay, but there's just such a insane initiation range from both the Spectre and the Storm. You know, they threw the Haunt and then they instantly identified where the Wind Ranger was, and when they took the Wind Ranger out of the fight, you know, Firo was like half the damage output from WG, so it became an easy pick from there. I think, you know, normally you'd be okay with standing on the high ground, but it ended up being a problem for them because they got clipped. 2 of their heroes got clipped by a Static Storm.
After Whoosh, he just took the other bounty rune across. That's hilarious. But yeah, the game's over already actually because Storm Spirit has an Aegis and a Region Rune. What else do you say to that other than GG? And the Alright. It's getting hard. Radiance Inspector, TNC, just... the huge power spike now after the team fight.
TNC's at the point where, you know, as long as they all press their R buttons, they win the team fight automatically, I think. Especially since they're 2k ahead. And Wind Ranger, I feel like she's not the hero she used to be.
can be a bit hard. Unless the name is Thompson, then it's the most OP hero in the game.
She definitely needs a BKB. It looks like she has that lined up next, but she's been the primary target of the Storm and the Spectre in most of these fights, just because, you know, she's the easiest core on WG to take out. You know, the Tidehunter and the PL aren't easy, so, you know, TNC is doing a really good job of locating the Wind Ranger in these fights and taking her out.
Yep. Well, you have to bite the time a little bit, perhaps. Right, they've not lost any tower objectives off of that team fight just yet. But you can just imagine that Cuckoo is on a hunt and he wants to kill things. Might find Velo up top, again isolated, but he's not really showing himself either. Just seeing what he can see. They're showing on the other side of the map, then they can push. He can push out that lane. Meanwhile, WG make themselves a bit of a bit of a gank path or whatever you want to call it area. He can easily try and slip in to push the bottom lane as well. Once they see more heroes up top. For now, it's only Cuckoo, and it doesn't really mean too much.
The TNC have all of their spells up right now.
Yep.
Pushing the tiers here. So their building damage isn't spectacular, but at the same time, WG don't really have an easy way to stop TNC from taking this tier 2.
Yep.
Spectre's going to be the designated hero on TNC, keeping this bot lane out. He's a little bit cautious right now because there's a lot of heroes missing on WG's lineup.
Yep.
So, WG have done a really good job of sort of creating lane pressure in this bottom lane. Raven doesn't really feel like leaving his base to push this up, but luckily for him, you know, he has a Manta Radiance illusions.
Like the two Jabami went on the from the heart back to the BKB of his own. And there's still issues with like physical damage starting to come through, but it's majority of TNC's damage is still coming from the magical side. You can count out the Static Storm, you don't care about the Radiance, all Storm Spirit stuff, especially the Orchid as well. It's you need some sort of extra defensive ability if you want to take a fight as Phantom Lancer, so it's the BKB himself. By the time the Aegis expires, Pharaoh should be able to pick up his as well, and then tables start to turn a little bit. That power spike is just a little bit cut off.
PL's a little bit tricky this game, I think, because you're dealing with Empowered Spectre, and there's enough magical AoE from TNC that you can pretty much always identify where the real PL is.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, you could just go on the BKB'd up Phantom Lancer if he does that. It's not the most comfortable item for Illusion Hero in the best of times, but double catapult down bottom, that's being responded to now. Pharaoh's also gonna put on some damage of his own. Try and keep them guessing. At the same time, Rumble Mace will keep Cuckoo away, but the tower in mid's almost falling. It will fall to the catapults here unless they do something. They get the hook back on Cuckoo, but he's zipping right back out again. Velo. Oh, stunned up. That's a Ravage to work with. He keeps purging off his stuff. It's only Cuckoo in the front lines committing. He's still holding on to that Aegis for the 20 seconds, zipping in from last on the tower even. Very safe play for him to be making.
You still have that Aegis on Cuckoo though, so...
Yeah. What's
certain...
a couple of seconds. Yeah.
I mean, TNC aren't jumping the gun at all. I think they're still scared of a scenario where they get multiple heroes clipped by Ravage.
Yep.
It's an easy kill for PL.
So you're trying to exploit the timing, like going that one next step forward. Like, all right, our Aegis is gone. WG is gonna expect us back off, so instead we're sitting on the high ground and waiting for them to come in. The smoked up Spectre comes through with a horn. Now realting onto the Phantom Lancer, but also close to the rest of his team. So nothing will come of that. That's a good ultimate on cooldown. WG are gonna have to be happy with that.
I wonder if TNC, they saw the Phantom Lancer for a second, I think, with the ward. I think they were expecting to catch him, but the Electric Vortex was a little bit slow. But I'm not even sure if they would have caught him there, so it was kind of a weird haunt to begin with.
Velo snuck up on the side here. This could be something. I mean, TNC, they starting to bring some heroes in. Kuku is still very hard to bring down, even with the Blink Ravage right on top of him. It's always a chance he's just randomly zipping back and forth and dodging it. And look at all these spirits. He does get the talent, but there's the RP onto one. BKB up as well. Samage was still being controlled up by the punch. Ravage will kind of miss and just keeping everyone else away at the very least. But now BKB as well from Raven taking this fight. And TNC, well, Velo gets hooked out by Afromush. How is no one died just yet? Jabami pops on BKB as the ones on TNC end. Another Bramble Mace, the stun coming through, but this point Spectre, very, very tanky indeed, and more remnants. Such a long line of remnants. Afromush is gonna die in the front line. Velo trying to do what he can with that axe, but Kuku, nothing left to control him up, just zipping from target to target. Double kill for him. Phantom Lancer, one of them. They all get stunned. That all just means that Kuku will finish in trouble. 4 heroes stand for WG and TNC. It's just proving to be very, very strong between that cause. Raven, impossible to kill, tanked up quite a few spells here and there. The Ravage missing was also a big deal. At some point, Kuku just had free reign. Damn, this talent is so crazy. Holy hell.
It is pretty crazy. I underestimated, actually. It was so good there because WG were caught in such a confined space. That was one of the most bizarre team fights I've seen in a while. Yeah. Especially when the Tidehunter got hooked back onto the low ground, but you know, Sam H, he went for the RP, was BKB'd, so he dodged the Ravage, but WG, they don't really do any damage to the Magnus when he's BKB'd, especially with the heroes that they have, so... And I think TNC won that fight when Storm was able to get his mana back and sort of zip in and finish WG.
Yep. They're gonna claim 1, maybe 2 sets of racks, even if Titan comes back, there's no Ravage for 50 seconds. Well, there it is, gonna go again, this time on the punch. Silence, Orchid Burn is gonna help him bring him down. They are rooted, Kuku's also gonna stun up Jabami. Oh no, never mind, he dodges the stun. Easy as that. Jabami, he's trying to fight. Popping another BKB, Velo with the extra minus armor, but even with that, it's just way too hard. Another RP inside the Static Storm. They're gonna bring down 1, bring down 2. Double kill for Raven this time, X Nova. Well, Sam H is gonna get that for himself, and the GG is called WG.Unity. Gonna lose game number 2, and with that, dropping out of this qualifier.
And it feels like if WG didn't win off of the mid game, then you know TNC's lineup is just naturally better at the mid to late game, especially because both teams don't have, or sorry, WG doesn't have like an easy way to initiate, and then TNC, you know, as they get more and more levels, the Storm is able to just zip and look for any kill that he wants, and you know, with the Spectre following out of it, just becomes a really easy lineup for TNC to execute in late game. So really well played and drafted by them.
Yeah. Again, just yeah, another one of these games where they've been shut down a little bit better.